Hey guys, Mike Brisson here, and today I'm going to show you how to rig a 2D character in Unity. So without further ado, let's jump right in. Unity 2019.3 has made it extremely simple to do this if you have access to Photoshop. And for those of you not fortunate enough to have access to Photoshop, or if you have found something online that you just wanted to mess with, I'll show you how to do that as well. But first, we're going to start with this. So you can see here, I've taken some inspiration from my intro character, and I've just drawn a simple character again. This isn't an art tutorial, as you can tell. So any appendage or limbs that you want to animate need to be on their own layers, as you can see up here. I've done. And once you've got that done, all you have to do is save as and select PSB file. Okay, over in Unity, I've imported my character, put it under my images folder, and you'll notice that there is a unique icon here, and that's due to the PSB extension. Now, in order to make this work properly, I need to go under Window, Package Manager, and bring in two packages. The first is 2D Animation, and then the next one I need is the 2D PSD Importer. So down here, make sure they're installed and up to date. After that, I'm going to click on my character, and we're going to head on over to the Sprite Editor window. Okay, so you'll see that Unity has sliced our sprite for us already. We're going to click on the Sprite Editor window, drop down and click on the Skinning Editor. And here's our character back together. First thing we need to do is add some geometry. So I'm going to click on the Auto Geometry button. You have some options here that you can tweak. I'm going to leave them as default and click Generate for All Visible. And you can see here that Unity has now added some vertices to our character. Now it's time to create our bones. I'm going to create the root bone. So it's left click, go up, and then left click when you're done, and now it wants to add another bone, and I don't want to add another bone here, so I'm going to right click. Next thing is important to name your bone, so I'm going to click on bone _1, and I'm going to call this the root. So from here, I'm now going to draw the first leg bone, and you can see by that yellow, the transparent yellow, that's telling me that this is going to be parented to the root, which is what I want. So I'm going to click once with the left button, bring it down, left click again, and I don't need any more bones, so I'm going to right click. Now for the other leg, I'm going to click here, bring it down, click again, and then right click. Now, if you decide that you want to actually have an upper leg and a lower leg, we're going to click on the split bone, hover over the bone we want, and now I've just added a secondary bone. Same thing over here. I've added a second bone, and now I'm going to create my main torso. And again, I want that parented to the root bone. I'm going to click up here and then right click off. And you can also always move the bone afterwards. I'm going to bring it back down here. Now, I've also decided that I think I want these legs actually parented off of my hip. So that's easy enough to do. Is we find, so this is I'm going to call this the hip bone. And I'm going to highlight both of these, just click and drag. And now these are parented to this. Okay, time for my arms. So I'm going to actually make all the bones in one go. So I'm going to start up the shoulder. I'm going to left click once, roughly halfway. I'm going to click again, bring it down roughly to where my wrist is going to be, click again, and then I'm going to right click off. And again, I want this parented off of this. So I'm going to click on the shoulder, bring it down halfway, bring it down, and then my wrist, and then right click when we're done. Maintaining my hip as the parent, we're going to click on for my head pivot. We'll click up here. And now the eyes, I want everything else from this point up to be parented off of the head. So I'm going to add a bone here for this eye. You can go from the bottom, top, left, right. I'm going to go from the right character's right edge, and then right click off. Okay, next up for the hair. So for the hair, I want multiple bones going so I can have it bounce when he's animated. So I'll fast forward through this part so you don't have to watch that. Okay, again, the number of bones for these kind of things, it's kind of choose your own adventure. Once that's all finished with, it's time to actually do the weighting. And we're going to click on Auto Weights. And I'm going to click on this Associate Bones, click on Generate. And the first thing you'll notice is our character lights up with color. And the colors represent the bone influence over the vertices surrounding it with the artwork. For example, you can see here with his right shoulder, the bone is orange, and you can see the surrounding vertices are also orange. So I'm not overly happy with the way that this is moving the artwork, so we're going to fine tune that. And in order to do that, we're going to go to the weight brush. And the first thing you'll see is a menu here that comes up. You can tweak, fine tune this. This is similar to the brush size, is similar to other tools like Photoshop and GIMP. Hardness, the same thing. So what you can do, there's a number of ways to isolate different of the parts. You can go over to the, if you don't have this menu open, click on Visibility. And you can go over to the sprite. You can find where we click on the chest. It'll isolate the chest. You can also just double click a region. So first thing we're going to start with is the chest. I'm going to double click and make sure that the bone is highlighted, the one that you want to do the influencing. So I'm also going to change my brush size. And it's just as simple as highlighting the vertices around it. And once that's done, we can move to the next bone. We can go to the arm, double click, and let's move this. And you can see now it's completely independent of the chest. When we move this, it's bending well. When I move the wrist, now the wrist I don't want affecting the forearm. So we're going to click on this bone here and make sure we highlight everything, all the vertices here that we don't want the wrist affecting. And now if I rotate the wrist, you can see that's completely independent. And right now, every time you move one of these bones, it's giving you a preview of what will happen. But even if you leave it like this does not affect the final artwork. And you can also reset your pose from up here. And once you're happy with the way your bones are articulating, it's time to hit apply, and then we can drag them into the scene. And here we can see his bones ready for animation. Next up is the guitar. And you can see it's just a single image here. First thing I need to do is change it from default to the Sprite 2D and UI. Click apply, and back over to the sprite editor. Now this is just a single image, there's no layers, there's no anything fancy. But what I'd like to do is have this guitar neck bend. So we'll go to the skinning editor. We need to hit auto geometry. Leave the defaults for now, hit generate for all visible. And it's time to create the bone. Double click this image. I'm going to start from here, and I'm going to just click once and go all the way to the top. And I'm going to right click, and now what I'm going to do is split this bone. So we'll have one end here for the body, roughly, and now I need a whole bunch for the neck. I'm just going to keep going up. Until I hit the head, and that's pretty good right there. When that's done, now I need to do the weighting. So we'll do some auto weights, generate, and you can see the colors come up. And I'm going to start bending here. Now some of these, we need to add some vertices. So I want to have enough that for each color there's a little bit more animation going on. So that's simple enough. All we have to do is to create vertex, and I'm going to add one on each side of each of these bones. One there. And I'll speed this up. Now it's important to note that you can click and drag some of these. I'll just finish these up here. So up here, this isn't really relevant, but I can bring this in. Okay, back to our auto weights. I'm going to regenerate. I'm going to go to my brush tool. I'm going to bring this down quite a bit. And let's see how this is going right now. That's not bad. Okay. Let's reset this pose. We'll hit apply. And there's one more step to do. For our guitar, when we bring this into the scene, we need to add a component. So you can see right now, it doesn't show any bones. We need to add a sprite skin. And we're going to click on Create Bones, and it automatically will import all of our bones. As you can see here. And now this is also ready. If I zoom in here, let's animate. And that's pretty much going to wrap it up for this video, which is good timing because my offspring are up and about and they're ready to ransack the fridge. So in the next video, I'm going to show you how to animate both of these together. So please subscribe and click the notification icon so you don't miss that. And before I go, I just want to give a shout out to John Weinberger over at GameDevHQ, as well as Alhack. They have incredible 3D and 2D artwork. So if you're a terrible artist like I am, or you're just not interested in the artwork side, or you just want to see some of the awesome things that they have available over there, head on over there. I'll put a link in the description. And until next time, see you later.